So we're going to start over here at the cost tab, and let's kind of look at this section here. This is all a summary. So everything you see here, there's not going to be any inputs in this section. This is only going to show you what was input in each of the detail sections. So for example, this planning section here where it says 31,890, that's where all of this is coming from. This is where the whole planning section here, and you can see this matches 31,890. So that's where that is being summarized here. So, but all the details are in this section. So you come here and you put all your information, say for your survey and your design services and all your permits and your lot costs and your construction financing, and you can see your interest at like if you want to do your APR, you can put all that in here. This will calculate that. Your appraisal, document preparation, your attorney's fees, title insurance, other. So, and then if we come up here to the next line, like your project insurance, this is where you would take care of all your project insurance in this next section here. So this 7,940, you can come back up here and see 7,940, and so on and so forth. So you go through all the detailed sections: job site facilities, demo, foundation, framing, exterior windows and doors, electrical systems, plumbing systems, HVAC, fireplace and trim, roofing, insulation, drywall, exterior veneer, cabinetry and countertops, interior trim and stairs, floor coverings, tile and ceramic, interior finishes, gutters and downspouts, door and closet hardware, bath hardware, appliances, site improvements, exterior areas and finishes, specialty options, construction cleanup, miscellaneous, and then if this is applicable for like a custom home builder, supervision, company overhead and markup, and then the total is down here at the bottom. And so you can see you have all of your items here. So, and again, the only places where you input something is in the orange cells. So again, we can come up here and we can say, okay, you can use this in the beginning when you just want to estimate how much something would cost. Then if you get something more firm from a subcontractor of yours, you can see how the cells will adjust as you select that option here. So, these will gray out and just let you know, okay, this is now summarizing what's in this particular column here. So now these become orange, and the other cells will adjust down here as well. All the grays it'll gray out what it needs to gray out, and it'll make orange what it needs to make orange, so that you input the right cells here. So you get the what you're looking for the firm pricing. And here you can see some slight changes. So 31,047. So you can see that up here, 31,047. And then if we kind of click through like the bid, like if you actually get a hard bid from a contractor, and he's thinking, all right, this is it. We're going to build this now. So then you can see how the cells will adjust for that as well, and it'll show you what it's summarizing here, and you can see even the titles will update. So total bid cost, total bid price, so even these are going to update as well based on that selection. And then other cells will then gray out similarly as it did for the firm. And then here's your bid pricing down here, 31,019.28, 31,019.28 right up here. And then if we came over to actual, you can see then it would adjust for that as well. This would show you what it's summarizing here. The titles would all update: total actual cost, total actual price, and the percent of the total. It shows you all this stuff. Actuals will update down here to make sure that you're updating this column appropriately. Okay, you got your sales tax and your markup in these orange cells here. So this is basically the cost. Okay, so this is one of the main areas where you will do your input for the cost. Really, it's basically the only place where you'll put your cost actually. So This is where you put all your costing in, and you can see it down here, this tab down here. All right, and then so there's 4 tabs down here, so that was the first one. And then the second one, there's no inputs for the second one. It's just a summary of all of the items that you input on the previous tab over here. This is just showing you in a chart form the percentages of your costs. So, you know, your exterior veneer in this case is 14%, roofing 4%, plumbing 8%. Some of these costings may be off, you know, for this example, but you know, your planning 10%, framing 12%, and then your other is a big chunk. So this piece of the pie is then brought over here into the second pie chart, where it can show you the makeup of what is in this piece of the pie, because it makes up 29% of the large pie. So this 29% piece here is brought over here, and it's broken up in a more detail, so you can see what comprises that 29% of that piece of the pie. So you can also see that the summary of the project cost, it's showing the actual, because that is based on the selection that was made over here. So you can see that if you update this to estimated, when you come back to this chart over here, it will then update this to show you the estimated costs, and you could see the chart slightly update as it needed to adjust for pulling from the estimated costs. And again, now this is 23%, and it's, you know, updating all these things accordingly. So again, there's no inputs on this page. This is simply a presentation in graphical form, chart form, of what you input on the first tab over here. So now let's move on to the third tab. So we basically covered cost inputs. Now let's talk a bit about schedule inputs. So this is more of a high level view. It's kind of a zoomed out view, so we get a more full picture versus what was shown in previous videos. So again, you can see though that we still have the orange cells are the inputs. So here you would put the start date of your project right in this orange cell here, and that will basically be the first day of your project. All right, and you can see that's even, you know, pulling that up here, matching this. So March 4th, and this is March 4th. So that's going to be your start date for your project. And then there is a built-in timeline. Excuse me. There is a built-in timeline, but it's based on these durations. But let me back up even from that a little bit. There's a built-in process in place here. So when you schedule things, they have the industry has things called predecessors and I think it's antecessor, or it's the things that come, the dependents. You know, it's the things that depend on those items being completed. So for example, let's go to this first one here. So where it says lot costs, we have 2 in here. So what this is referring to is, this is saying the controlling step. So what this is saying is that before I can get my lot costs, I need to have the survey complete. So this 2 right here is referring to this 2 right here. Okay, in column A, row 6, that's that 2 right there. So this lot cost is dependent on when this survey is complete. So you can see that and the relationship is finish to start. Okay, so what this is saying is that what that means is that for this task to begin, to start, the task that it's depending on has to finish. So when this row finishes on the 6th of March, that's when this one starts, on the 6th of March. All right, and and there's 1 day duration, which you can see here. So it's taking this start date and adding 1 day to it in this case, and making it 7 March. All right, and again, when you come to this next one, we said the controlling step for row item number 4 here, which you can see right here, column A, row 8. This is task number 4, but you can see that it's depending on task number 3. And again, here is task number 3 right here. And the finish date for that one is March 7th. And our relationship is finish to start, so that means that this start date is going to be the finish date of this one. So that's going to be March 7th. And the duration is 4 days, so it's going to add 4 to that 7, which is going to be 11 March. So that'll be the end date of task 4. And then let's come down to some of these examples down here. You can see that we say that task 5 and 6 both depend on item 4 being complete. And we're saying it's a finish to start relationship as well. So, but these two tasks are depending on this particular row right here to be completed, which is March 11th. So the start date for both of these tasks is March 11th. The end date for the first one here is going to be 14 days after this one, which is the 25th. And the end date for this one is going to be 7 days after the start of this, which is the 18th. So you can see how this structure is being built and pre-programmed into the spreadsheet, which can be modified if you need to. So I don't highlight these orange because this process is it's something that you don't have to change, and it's something that but I do want you to be aware that you can change this if you need to. You can customize it for your project if you need to. So for example, I don't know, let's go down here. This is kind of random here, but let's just say that we're going down to the concrete slab labor, and in this case I've got that dependent on row 29, which is your pier or foundation inspection being completed first. And then this is a finish to start relationship as well. So this start date is going to be the end date of that item number 29, which is March 4th, and that's why this is March 4th here. 1 day duration to make it March 5th. But say that you wanted this to be dependent on something else. You wanted this task number 31 to be dependent instead of on item number 29. You wanted it to be dependent on item 24. You can change that. You can change this row right here, and it will update what the relationship of what it's depending on before it's going to start. So what I'm describing, this is a Gantt chart, and these are some common terms that are used and the common structure of how it is set up, where it's depending on a certain task to be completed before it starts another one. So there's three main relationships that are allowed in this spreadsheet. So there's the finish to start relationship, which we've seen in this example so far, which finish to start means it's waiting for that task to be completed, to be finished or completed before it starts this new task. There's two other ones here. So start to start. In this case, what it means is that if it's if it were depending on item task number 29 right here, then if it were a start to start relationship, then it would take the start date of task 29 and make that the start date of item task 31, because it's saying, all right, in order for me to start this task, you have to start the other one. And there are some relationships that are like that. So this is, you do things in parallel in that case. Another relationship that can be set up is a finish to finish relationship, which means that it's going to take the finish date of the task that it's depending on. So in this case, if we had it a finish to finish, it would take the finish date of row 29, which is this one, and it would make the finish date of task 31 that date, the same date. It would make it March 4th. So, so those are pretty common terms in the industry. Finish to start, start to start, finish to finish. So those are the three options you have on setting up that relationship there. So you can modify this row as well. This column as well. You can basically these two columns right here. You can say, what it's depending on, and the relationship that it has. Another thing that you can do is you can put the lag date in there. So a positive number means that it's going to, let's take an example actually. So for row number 36, it's going to say that it's depending first on item 35. So it's depending on this. So it's taken April 10th and adding a 4-day lag to it, and that's going to be the start date because it's finished to start. So if it didn't have a 4-day lag on it, which we see here, then this start date would have been April 10th. But because we said we want a 4-day lag, then this is going to start 4 days after this April 10th, which is April 14th, and that's why this is April 14th here. And then it has a 1-day duration that we see here, and that's why it's saying April 15th is the finish date for that one. Now, one thing to note is that if we had a negative lag time like we see here, then it will subtract that amount of time. So let's take an example here. So this item right here is item 35. It's depending on item 39, which is here. And it's a start to start relationship. So it's taking the start date here, which is April 11th, and it's going to subtract 2 days from it, which is April 9th, and put April 9th here. So that's why this is April 9th right here. Okay? All right, now again, you can update these lag times here as well. A negative lag time, I believe, is called a lead time. So so again, these three columns here are not orange because the structure is. I don't think you'll change this very often, especially once you have your structure set up. You probably will have you may modify this a bit the first time you use it. You may customize it to the way that you want it done exactly, whether it's your region is a little different or something. The way you do your foundations is a little different. So you can customize it in that way, but this is something that once you have this set up, then you probably won't change it. So anyway, that's why it's not orange, but I just do want you to know that you can change this if needed. You can change these if needed. You can change these if needed. So there is some flexibility there. And once you have all that set up for your particular process, then from project to project, the main thing that you may change is highlighted here in orange, which will be the durations. So you can change how long each task is going to take, and then you may also come over and do the lead times, lag times. You could customize that. You can customize it on any project really, but you may customize it for each house or so. But once you have your durations in there, let's make one modification just so we can see this in process. Okay, so let's change this particular one to 7, and whenever I hit enter, just keep an eye over here to see how it changes the chart. Okay, I'm going to hit enter now. All right, you can see how it pushed down a little bit. The arrows are now a little bit off. You might notice the arrows there are a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click this, refresh arrows, and when I do, keep an eye on that area so you can see how the arrows will reconnect. Okay. All right, so you could see it refresh there, and you could see how the arrows reconnected there. So let me come back and hit 3. Okay, and that's just gonna, let's see if I can make it a little more dramatic here. All right, does that, let's make it 21, something really even more dramatic here. Okay, so you can see even all these arrows here are now off, right? They're all these things are off, and you can also know that all the dates are adjusting, right? So even as you update that, these dates would have adjusted and everything. So let's hit refresh arrows, and you can watch the chart over here, and you see how the arrows will then go back onto their particular blocks here. All right, so anyway, I'm just going to put this back to what it was, which was 3. And by the way, these, you can see how these dates updated. All right, hit this again, the refresh arrows there, put the arrows back on the blocks there. And again, so for each project, you can go through and put your particular durations for each one of your steps in here for exactly the way that you want your process to be set up for each one of those, and then you will have completed your schedule for your project. All right, so that's this third tab here. And okay, all right, and you can see on the y-axis we have the task being completed, which is pretty much right next to its item over here. Okay, and then down here on the x-axis we have the dates, we have the timeline, so that you can come through and see how long your project is going to take, and those kind of things. So at a high level view in your Gantt chart. So that pretty much takes care of the third tab. Now we come to the fourth tab, which is going to show a step-by-step process of a checklist of completing your home, and it is going to show you know, like a date next to each one of these tasks here, and all of the inputs on this tab are actually optional. So I kind of wish that I had made this like a light orange or something like that, just because what you put here is kind of a note to yourself. You know, this is not really going to change anything that you put in here. This is just something for you to record. Oh, okay, well, here's the actual date that we completed this. You know, the schedule says March 7th, but we actually did it March 10th. Those kind of things. But you can go back to the schedule and input, you know, March 10th, or the actual date, in the schedule tab for it to update the future dates, you know, so that you can have a better idea of when the things that are depending on that task to be completed, when those are actually going to be completed. So if you're like 3 days late on this, you know, it can push these dates appropriately so that you'll have a better idea of when these things are going to happen. Okay, so the purple here is helping you to realize, oh, okay, I need to order materials. Okay, so this is like, you know, you need to order foundation materials, or order your doors, or, you know, it's trying to help you to show you when you need to order materials. The blue highlights are helping you to realize when you need to hire a sub. Okay, so like hire a foundation contractor, hire a plumbing contractor here, you know, have the soil treated for termites, that kind of stuff. All right, so that's that. The light green is an inspection. I think we covered this on a previous video, but the light green and the dark green are dealing with inspections, and the light green, and these may change based on your particular region, but the light green, dark green tried to distinguish between like a hard and non-official inspection, and dark green is city inspection. Here's a legend down here if you need it, and then all your abbreviations of what is used in here is in there as well. Like SC is subcontractor, RF is a roofer, that kind of thing. So, and again, you don't really have to input anything on this tab. This again is optional. All these are optional. So what this is doing is this is actually pulling from the inputs that you made on your cost and your schedule tabs. So all these costs that you see here and here, all the costs that you see on here are coming from your cost inputs here, and all the schedule dates that you see here and here, and all the dates you see on here are coming from your schedule tab. So this is just a presentation of all of your inputs that you made in a form that you may find easier to work with as you are building your house, because on a week by week basis, or however this is set up, but it may not be exactly weeks. This is more of like, maybe 2 weeks here, but as a section by section process, you can see, so like, 28 March to 11 April, you're dealing with these kind of things, and it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be whatever it is based on how you input your dates on your schedule. And then like from 11 April to 25 April, you're dealing with these issues, and then next section, 25 April to 9 May, you're dealing with these items. So it just kind of helps you to stay on track and kind of do things in order, and because weeks down the road, months down the road, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, 11 weeks, you have something that you can have in front of you to help you to say, okay, all right, what do I need to do this week? What do I need to do next week? What do I need to, just to try to help you to not miss anything and stay on track, and that kind of thing. So let's look at that. That is kind of what's going on here in this first section here. All right, so it's basically telling you, like, okay, here's the tasks you need to do, and here's the dates that you need to get them done by. Okay, so that's what's going on here. All right. This next section here is these next two are related. So this next section is talking about when you're going to pay people. All right. So both of these sections are talking about when you're going to pay people and how much you're going to pay them. All right. They're broken up into labor here in this section, this whole section, all this whole area here and all the way down. All right, this is talking about labor, and then this is talking about material. Okay, all the way down. All right, so like on March 4th, it's saying you're going to pay the surveyor. All right, and then this has the same estimated firm bid and actual. So you estimated you're going to pay them $400, and then it might end up being that you paid them $371.28. Okay, these are just obviously example numbers, but that's what this is showing you, that you're paying labor here. So now, like down here, this is talking about you're gonna pay your plumber on 3 April. And say you paid them $2,551.90. All right. Okay, so this is just letting you know who you're going to pay for labor and how much you're going to pay them and on what date. Okay, so you can see the date here, and you can see the amount here, or whatever you're looking at, actual bid, firm, estimated, whatever you're looking at. All right, and then so who you're going to pay, on what date you're going to pay them, and how much you're going to pay them. All right, and this is talking about the labor part. Now if we come over here to the material section, very similar. It's just broken out for material. So if we say we're going to pay the building supply store um, somewhere in the time frame of March 30th, and we're going to pay them about 1,072.11. All right, and then your concrete supplier, you paid him 55.60 on the 2nd of the 2nd of April, right here. This is the date. So on April 2nd, you're going to pay the concrete supplier, and you're going to pay him 55.60. Okay, so that's the way this thing is broken out. All right, so it goes all the way down this way, showing, you know, when you're going to pay, who you're going to pay, how much you're going to pay them. All right, and then you can see the totals. It breaks them out for your labors here, the labor that you pay for here. Again, broken out in the bid and firm and estimated, firm, bid, and actual here. And this is all labor subtotals right here. And this is your material subtotals here. Again, for your estimated, your firm, your bid, your actuals. This is all materials, all subtotals. And then this totals up both of them. So this is put your labor and your materials together. So let's say your 319, 481.71. Come up here and say, well, we got to come over here and get actual. And then you've got your 319, 481.71 there. Okay, 319, 481.71. That's how these are matching up. So you can see that everything it's pulling everything from the cost tab there, and it's just breaking them up into labor and material on the dates that you selected. Okay, so that's where all of this is coming from. All right, and then as we come over here, we see the cash draw schedules. All right, and it's broken up in the different formats. So you can see that this one is for your estimated. This is for your firm. This is for your bid. And this is for your actual. And then you've got your labor shown in blue. You've got your materials shown in red, and you've got your totals shown in green here. Okay, and that's for your estimated. And again, you know, firm, bid, and actuals as it goes down. And then these are just comparisons over here if you would like to see some comparisons. Like this is comparing your total estimated to your total firm, to your total bid, total actual, to see kind of how, so you can compare like how, what your plan versus your actuals, and you can see how you came out on that. And then this breaks that similarly. These are the totals, but then this breaks out the labor in a similar way, where you can compare your estimated, firm, bid, and actual together for your labor only. And then this does the same thing for material, comparing your material, estimated, firm, bid, and actual together here. Okay, so that's the spreadsheet run through and tutorial there.